Hi, you all. It's been a while, and I'm really not doing too much commentating on reality shows anymore. As I've told you all before, if you all want to see my commentary, follow me on Get Glue. Because while I'm watching, I'm sending messages through there, or if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see the messages because it's attached to my Twitter or whatever. But I'm not doing a whole bunch of videos on that stuff. But I did have to take some time out to discuss the part one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, just because of all of the stuff that I've seen online and also things that I've seen on TV, such as Whoopi Goldberg on The View, Nene coming on the Arsenio Hall show, um, and the Wendy Williams show, different shows where they're discussing what happened and who's at fault, which it seems that a lot of people are faulting Kenya. And y'all know, I'm gonna speak my mind, and even if it may not be what public opinion is. And honestly, I don't blame Kenya at all, and I'm gonna tell you why. It was known that Kenya brought the fan last year, okay? It was known well before the reunion that she was going to bring props to this reunion as well. I want to say she was on the Bethany Frankel show or some talk show she was on, and she was asked if she was going to bring props, and she said yes, and they're going to be bigger and better than they were last year. So it was known that she was going to bring the props, okay? Bravo allowed the props on stage. Andy sat there, while she was, pointing the scepter and knighted him and all the shenanigans. That's what Kenya is here for. She is here for the shenanigans, okay? And so there it is, all right? Porsha is a grown woman, okay? She is over 30 years old, okay? And I feel that unless you have some kind of medical condition or you have involuntary movements or actions, then there is no reason for you to respond to someone in a violent manner when they did not touch you first, okay? I just don't. I don't condone it at all. And it's mainly due to my spirituality, because several years ago, I would definitely not probably think twice about clocking somebody upside the head, if they made me mad. But spiritually, I have come a long way. And, I also have things to lose. I have a career. I don't have a job. I have a career. And my career is a career that holds you to an ethical standard. And maybe because Porsha doesn't have a true career, she doesn't think that way. But her reaction to Kenya was just unbelievable, and unacceptable. I feel that, and people keep using the word bully all over the internet. I do not feel that Porsha was bullied. I know, I have seen bullies, witnessed bullies. This is not bullying. This is a tit for tat, mutual exchange of verbal insults. Okay, Kenya wasn't even talking to Porsha really. She didn't even really give Porsha much attention this season at all. Now, last season, she was kind of nasty to Porsha, but this season, she hasn't even really entertained Porsha. And the only things that she said about Porsha were things that other people said or that Porsha put out there herself. Everybody clowned her for the Underground Railroad thing. And the stuff regarding Cordell, Porsha put out there herself. She's the one who said that he did her dildo that she bought from Candy's company was not returned when he packed up her stuff. She, kept bringing up things that were kind of questionable about his sexuality. When they went on the vacation, she said, I married him and I told him I would help him put the rumors to rest. And Kenyon was like, so are you saying you were a beard? That's pretty much what Porsha was saying. She was just repeating basically what Porsha put out there. Kind of like when Cynthia said that Natalie called Todd an opportunist. No, she didn't say that word opportunist, but the things that she was saying about Todd basically meant that you're calling him an opportunist. You saying that he's always looking for a come up. Okay, so opportunist. Yeah, you didn't say the word, but it's implied. Okay, so that's pretty much the same deal. And everything that she said was stuff that Porsha put out there. So then when she says something to her about what she's already put out there, it's a problem. And she's the one that was kikiing and grinning and smiling whenever someone said something rude to Kenya. And, Porsha, Phaedra talking about scrambled eggs. That's another thing. Okay, on the reality shows, they give shade and they talk about each other, talk behind each other's back. That goes with the territory of reality TV. And my thing is, if you can't take it, then you don't need to be on there, because that is pretty much what you're signing up for. But comments like that, scrambled eggs, things like that, that's below the belt. The fact that she wants children, but she's older, you don't say stuff about her reproductive system like that. That's below the belt to me. And they say things like that, and Kenya doesn't respond, get up, and she didn't get up and go over to Phaedra and snatch her down because she told her she had scrambled eggs. She went on about her business. Yes, Kenya has gotten in people's face and argued and whatever, but many of them have. And Nene especially basically saying that Kenya was bullying Porsha. I don't know where Nene has been the past few seasons, if she had an out-of-body experience where she was not witness to her own behavior, but Nene has got into it with everybody on that cast. She supposedly choked Kim, tried to jump on Kim on that bus. Lisa, season 1, I think it was, season 1 reunion, Lisa had to sit on Nene to keep her from trying to attack. She has gone at it with Sheree, continues to call Sheree She-Man, even though Sheree didn't say anything mean about her when she was on Watch What Happens Live recently. And made Porsha cry when they went to Savannah telling her she's not a good friend, even though the girl that was going through a divorce got put out of her house. So I'm like, really? You're calling somebody a bully? Okay. So it's like everybody, just because they don't like Kenya, it's like they're condoning what Porsha did because of the fact that they don't like Kenya. Because Nene got all over Kenya for getting out of her seat at the pillow talk party, but it's okay that Porsha got up out of her seat and actually put her hands on somebody. Oh, that's okay because she was provoked. Okay, well, why was it a problem for Kenya to get out of her seat at the pillow talk party? Because if it's okay for Porsha to get out of her seat, then it should have been okay for Kenya to get out of her seat. But she dragged her name through the mud because of the incident that happened at the pillow talk party, which wasn't even Kenya's fault. Here again, like I said, Kenya's the scapegoat. Yes, Kenya stirs the pot, And yes, Kenya is over dramatic and, all of that stuff. But that pillow talk incident, like I discussed before, that man had no business grabbing Kenya. He could have blocked her from getting in front of his wife. Kenya talks mess. Kenya is not trying to fight anybody. She's just all mouth. Okay? So for Porsha to call Kenya a slut from the 90s, okay? So here she is saying something to Kenya, and then Kenya responded by, "You're a dumb hoe," through the megaphone after Porsha has already slung her scepter. And she thinks it's okay to get up and drag her, then throw a tantrum like a 3-year-old on the floor, crying and screaming after the fact. Okay, no ma'am. The whole thing was ridiculous, immature. We are not dealing with 3-year-olds. We are dealing with 30-somethings and 40-somethings. It is ridiculous. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I can't count how many reunion shows where people have got up and walked off the stage. If Porsha had a problem with Kenya's props or what Kenya said, she could have got up and walked off the stage and told Andy, "Look, if you don't get her to get rid of those props, I'm not coming back out there," or whatever. Several times, people have walked off the stage of reunion shows and had to get talked back onto the stage. Several times. They could have even changed the seating. They could have switched Candy with Porsha, because I don't think Kenya would have pulled out those props with just Cynthia and Candy on her couch, because she gets along with both of them. But I was like, saying somebody is provoked to react to a verbal altercation with physical aggression, no, it doesn't fly with me at all. Not for grown people. These are not kids on a playground, okay? These are grown women. Kenya has insulted Phaedra on several occasions. She said mean things about Candy, whatever, and neither one of those women got up and tried to physically harm Kenya. It's called maturity and self-control. And like I said, that is what happens on reality TV. They talk about each other, okay? They throw shade. That is what they do. That is what keeps the viewership going. If you can't handle somebody talking mess to you or throwing shade, then you need to find another venue to work. Okay, another arena. You don't need to do reality TV if you think that because someone says something to you that you don't like, it's okay for you to put your hands on them. It's not. And I think really, I don't even think it was really the props. I think it was what Kenya said. I think Porsha did not want her dirty laundry aired. Because she brought up the alleged affairs that she had with Cordell, and I think that just really struck a nerve. And she just reacted extremely inappropriately and unacceptable. And, while Nene is running around calling Marlo manhole and Sheree she-man and, calling Kim wig and all this other stuff, but Kenya's the bully. I'm just like, I'm over it. And if Porsha stays on the show for another season, I'm not going to watch Real Housewives of Atlanta anymore. I'm honestly not, because she is so immature and she gets on my nerves anyway. I mean, just the cluelessness in her voice, and it's like everybody babies her from her family to the housewives, and it's like, grow up. Like, grow up. So after she did that, and she blacked out, that's what people say on Snapped. So there's a problem. No ma'am. So I'm disgusted, because Married to Medicine was bad enough, you know, when Toya and Mariah got into that scuffle, but it was a mutual physical scuffle. Kenya was just sitting there, and then Porsha got up and approached her, so she stands up. Then she yanks her, and if you look closely at it, Kenya, when she fell on Porsha's leg. Had she fallen and hit her head on that floor, she could have seriously got hurt, and Porsha would have been in even more hot water. But she's running around getting glamorous mug shots. Her sister, I think it was, had on a Buy Ashy shirt on Instagram or whatever. And it's like, okay, seriously? Like, it's like she's not taking any accountability for her actions at all. And then it's talking about her attorneys about trying to get charges against Kenya. I'm like, seriously? Okay. No, ma'am. You just need to take accountability for your own actions and stop acting like a freaking kid and grow the heck up. Own your stuff. Own your wrong. Say, even though, yes, she did have the props and she did call you a dumb hoe, but you call her a slut. Okay, and you said her breath was bad, rotten vagina, whatever. You know, all this stuff you're throwing out at her. So, like I said, it's a mutual verbal exchange. But then you think you're justified to put your hands on somebody. No. And, you know, those of you who think, oh, I would have dragged her too. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. You know, and I've gone on Twitter and, you know, talked to some people, you know, gone back and forth respectfully. And it's like, okay, we agree to disagree, but no one deserves to be hit or dragged for a verbal altercation. It's called walk away or don't participate in, because if Porsha wouldn't have been throwing in her jabs, Kenya wouldn't have had anything to respond to. But she was feeding, they were just feeding into it each other, just and then, you know, she was involved. She is mutually involved in the verbal altercation, and she is individually involved in putting her hands on Kenya because she chose to take it there. That was her decision. No one, like I said, unless you have a medical issue or you have involuntary movements, no one can, outside of yourself, or nothing outside of yourself can cause for you to put your hands on somebody. That is a choice. And I tell people all the time, you know, when they try to blame other people for their actions, I shut it down because, and like I said, it goes back to my spirituality. I feel that you have to look in the mirror. You have to look at yourself and what you chose to do. Porsha chose to do that, regardless of what Kenya did. Unless Kenya put her hands on her and she defended herself, that is a different situation. But because Kenya was saying rude things to her, as she said rude things to Kenya, she had no justification to put her hands on that woman. That is her choice. She needs to own it. Apologize. Drop her little mess that she charges that she's trying to drum up and go somewhere else because it's ridiculous. But I'm done. This video is extremely long. I don't even know if it's going to show the whole thing. But see you guys. Peace.